Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class, which is from Canto 2, Chapter 4, in Text 13. Without further ado, we'll start the class. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Rajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Gopi Janavallabha Girivadadari Yashodavandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotara Sadasisi Maris Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajikacharya Stotara Sadasisi Maris Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavin Ki Jai Nama Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय तुलसी देवी की जय भक्ति देवी की जय Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Samaveta Bhaktavinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Devi Swami Namini Namaste Krishna Vinaya Prabhupada Siddhartha Sri Guru Karuna Shakti Bhakti Devi Namini Narayana Namaste Chanarum Chaivan Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Vajirayat Nashta Prayesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sivaya Bhagavato Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear Buddhists, except for humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is Canto 2, Chapter 4, and text 13. Yo namasad pritinat chede satam asambhavaya kila sattva murtaye pusampuna paramahamsya ashrami vyavastitanam anumrigya dashushe. Yo namasad pritinat chede satam asambhavaya kila sattva murtaye Pushampuna paramahamsya ashrami Vyavastitanam anumrikya dashushe Uyo namasad vijinaschide satam asambhavaya kila sattva murtaye Pushampuna paramahamsya ashrami Vyavastitanam anumrikya dashushe. Hare Krishna.
Uyo namashad Prigyanachide satam asambhavaya kila sattva murtahe pumsam puna paramahamsashrame vyavastitanam anubrigya dashushe. Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We go to the word for word now. Booyah again. Nama, my obeisances. Sad of the devotees or the pious. Vijina, distresses. Chide, the liberator. Asatam, of the atheists, the non-devotee demons. Asambhavaya, cessation of further happiness. Akila, complete. Sattva, goodness. Murtaye, unto the personality. Pumsham, of the transcendentalist. Puna, again. Paramahamsye, the highest state of spiritual perfection. Ashrame, in the status. Vyavastitanam, particularly situated. Anumrigya, the destination. Dashushe, one who delivers. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses, and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, He grants their specific destinations. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Krishna is the complete form of all existence, both material and spiritual. Akila means complete, or that which is not kila, inferior. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are two kinds of nature, Prakriti, namely the material nature and the spiritual nature, or the external and internal potencies of the Lord. The material nature is called apara, or inferior, and the spiritual nature is called superior or transcendental, para. Therefore, the form of the Lord is not of the inferior material nature. He is complete transcendence, and he is murti, or having transcendental form. The less intelligent men who are unaware of his transcendental form describe him as impersonal Brahman. But Brahman is simply the rays of his transcendental body, Yasha Prabha. The devotees who are aware of his transcendental form render him service. Therefore, the Lord also reciprocates by his causeless mercy and thus delivers his devotees from all distresses. The pious men who follow the rulings of the Vedas are also dear to him, and therefore the pious men of this world are also protected by him. The impious and the non-devotees are against the principles of the Vedas, and so such persons are always hampered from making advances in their nefarious activities. Some of them who are specially favored by the Lord are killed by him personally, as in the cases of Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, and Kansa. And thus, such demons get salvation and are thereby checked from further progress in their demoniac activities. Just like a kind father, either in his favor upon the devotees or his punishment of the demons, he is ever kind to everyone because he is a complete existence for all individual existence. The Paramahamsa stage of existence is the highest perfectional stage of spiritual values. According to Srimati Kunti Devi, the Lord is factually understood by the Paramahamsas only. As there is gradual realization of the transcendence from impersonal Brahman to localized Paramatma to the personality of Godhead, Purushottam Lord Krishna, similarly, there is gradual promotion of one's situation in the spiritual life of sannyas, Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivajakachaja, and Paramhamsa are gradual progressive stages in the renounced order of life, sannyas. And Queen Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, has spoken about them in her prayers for Lord Krishna. Canto 1, Chapter 8. Srimad Bhagavatam. The Paramahamsas are generally found among both the impersonalists and the devotees. But according to Srimad Bhagavatam, as clearly stated by Kunti Devi, pure Bhakti Yoga is understood by the Paramahamsas, and Kunti Devi has especially mentioned that the Lord descends, Paritranaya Sadhunam, especially to award Bhakti Yoga to the Paramahamsas. So ultimately, the Paramahamsas, in the true sense of the term, are unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Srila Jiva Goswami has directly accepted that the highest destination is Bhakti Yoga, by which one accepts the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Those who accept the path of Bhakti Yoga are the factual Paramahamsas. Since the Lord is very kind to everyone, the impersonalists who accept Bhakti as the means of merging in the existence of the Lord in his impersonal Brahmajyoti are also awarded their desired destination. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 11, he has assured everyone, Ye yatamam prapajanti tam, well, ye yatamam prapajanti. According to the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, there are two classes of Paramahamsas, namely the Brahmanandis, impersonalists, and the Premanandis, devotees. And both are awarded their desired destinations, although the Premanandis are more fortunate than the Brahmanandis. Both the Brahmanandis and Premanandis are transcendentalists, and they have nothing to do with the inferior material nature, full of the existential miseries of life. Om Gnati Virandasya Jnana Gana Shalakaya Chakshugam Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Tapitam Jena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Kadamayam Vidati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarani Namo Mahabharanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gurachache Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sarveta Gadadha Siva Shari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations. Hare Krishna. So, this line here, this particular text, where Shukadeva Goswami is offering his obeisances and describing Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, more, because he described him earlier in the earlier texts, as Maharaj Pariksit had asked him a question about the creative energy of the Lord. He's getting to it, but he means Shukadeva Goswami, starts by offering respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and describing some properties, one of the things, or some of the things that the Lord does. Therefore, we can understand how he's like. It's very, very important to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we can give our hearts to him much, much more easily and grow to love him much more easily. Mm-hmm. Even in a mundane sense, if somebody has some kind of clout or authority and you begin to understand to some extent that authority, the authoritative power, and you have a chance to relate to him, that would give you some joy because you know that you're connecting to a source that can get things done for you, even sometimes when you need that kind of help, and he has the power and to make a decision in that particular area. Then you feel fortunate that you know a person like that. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the transcendental power. He is the power, the most powerful in all areas. So to connect with him, one takes good understanding of who the Lord is, and then giving our hearts to him. So Shukadeva Goswami deliberately describes the Lord as the liberator of the pious devotees from all distresses. There are two words here, devotees, and then a description of devotees, pious. Devotees, people who act in the mode of goodness, are pious people. And people who serve the Lord from their hearts are devotees of the Lord. Therefore, pious devotees are people with a good heart and also giving their heart to the Lord, and they serve him from the bottom of their hearts. That's a pious devotee. What does the Lord do? Shukadeva Goswami says, the Lord liberates them from all distresses. When we're liberated from all distresses, it means we're also protected. Then we say, oh, but we ask devotees, distresses come. Even pure devotees, we see sometimes they face difficulty. But that difficulty is not the stresses to keep them down. The difficulties that come seems that way, but the pure devotees won't even look at it as difficulties at all. They just look at one stage to the next. What I have to do, the next stage, to get to the next stage of my devotion to the Lord. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur can say that when difficulties come my way when I'm serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's when I'm happiest. Because the challenge of the difficulty means we now being asked to use our own intelligence to overcome a situation in order to be of better service to the Lord and the Lord's devotees. How to solve it. Sometimes the spiritual master, if you're close to him, he might give you some service. And that service is a service where, from the material standpoint, the spiritual master himself may not be so well versed with it. Spiritual master is not responsible for material knowledge. He only gives spiritual knowledge. But there may be some task that has a material aspect of it, and most of them are, because we're living in the material world anyway. But a person with some expertise may be able to deal with that. Case in point, a situation that happened to Chandamali Swami at Gitanagi. So he came to give a lecture. Everybody showed up for the lecture. And as we know, the sannyasis, they wear saffron. So he had a saffron kurta on, saffron dhoti, and kurta, and the other extra ones that the sannyasis wear around the necks. They tie it in the back of the neck. He had all of it on, typical sannyas garb. And the devotees gave him a garland of flowers. So he finished the lecture, and then we found out that his kurta was soiled with colors from the flower garden, from some of them. And it wasn't something that you could just put water on there and wash it off. It was like it had dyed, like was like a dye. It gotten on there. So now it became important to remove the dye because the color, because it had soiled his kurta. So he announced when he came back and just took his kurta off, changed, and said, "All right, so this is a situation we should deal with it. Please get it somehow removed from me." So there's some devotees that took it at first and finally wound up with me because he has a chemistry background, so maybe you should give it to him. Yeah, well, I was Johnny on the spot then. This doesn't mean that chemistry would do everything, but it was given to me, and I just prayed about it first and started thinking, all right, I don't know the nature of this dye. It's from the flowers, and definitely the easiest thing to do is just put soap and water on it, right? We put soap and water, it went nowhere. Oh, well, that's the real situation now. Soap couldn't remove it. So then I had to start thinking, all right, what do you do? I started thinking about acids and bases, and I won't get into any deep chemistry here, not here. But somehow it's one of the two. This is through prayer that the ideas started coming. So then, what's a household product that you can deal with an acidic situation? What's a household product that can deal with an alkaline situation? I don't know the nature of it. So we had to just try. And to cut a long story short, it took a while, about 5, almost 10 minutes later, after trying the soap, washing it, and then finally, the soap, of course, didn't work. Finally, it started peeling off. But one or two things, if you're curious, I'll tell you, vinegar deals with alkaline situations, and baking soda deals with acidic situations. Those are the two things you can get right at home. You don't have to go to a lab to find those. So those labs, there's plenty of them that will deal with situations like that. But the thing is, they have to be mild because, maybe I'm spending too much time on it. But just want to make one point that there is a dye in the dhoti itself. The dhoti is dyed orange. I mean, the kurta is dyed orange. You don't want the orange to go away, but you want to remove the dye. So it wasn't a easy thing at all because you could easily bleach the orange color off too. So finally we did it and gave it back, just ironed it nicely and gave it to Maharaj. So yeah, there's the material side of things that sometimes is necessary to do, and it takes a person who has better understanding of the background of in that area. We're saying all of that to say that when devotees have some expertise, it's actually better for management to know about it because they can help in specific situations of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that gives extra credits. Mm-hmm. So what we've learned in material energy is also very important for service. We can use it to make money, but for service, it's even better because then we get pious credits, we get spiritual credits, and we get an opportunity to go back to Godhead because of that. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete existence and transcendence. Mm-hmm. He liberates pious devotees from all distresses. And distresses are usually given by demonic people, or sometimes even other living entities trying to live. We get distresses from the bite of a mosquito, but mosquito is not wanting to give us sickness. Mosquito is just trying to live. That's the nature of the world. So happiness and distress at the material level, they're ingrained in the whole creation. It's just the way it is. So Krishna is also the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the demons. So he liberates pious devotees from distresses and he checks the advancement of atheistic agenda. He does both. So, and then the third thing that Sukadeva Goswami said is he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who gives the destinations for transcendentalists, the destinations. He grants their specific destinations. And in other places in the Shastra, it says, according to their desires. And specifically, Brahmaloka, those who are in Brahmaloka and practice Krishna consciousness in Brahmaloka, we're saying that before we go on to say that it is not automatic that Brahmaloka people are practicing Krishna consciousness. No. Those who do, when they're in Brahmaloka, when the time comes, Lord Brahma leaves the body, they all also leave Brahmaloka among the rest of the planets in the universe. They get destroyed after Lord Brahma's time's over and he himself is leaving the body. Those people who are Krishna conscious in Brahmaloka, they will go to the spiritual world. Now, they know more about the spiritual planets than we do. Although what we've been told by Srila Prabhupada is more than enough for us, but they know more. They live literally with Karnodakshaya Vishnu and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Both of them are on Brahmaloka. Karnodakshaya Vishnu is Lord Brahma's father. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is Lord Brahma's father. It was from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, the lotus that came from the navel of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, that Lord Brahma was born. So the Lord, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, he is for every universe, present in every universe, but also with Lord Brahma in the Brahma Loka. The Karanodakshaya Vishnu or Mahavishnu, he's the one from whom the universe has come. He comes from his force. He was invited by Lord Brahma to come to the planet Brahmaloka. So he's also there, and sages there offer pujas. They do sacrifices, extensive, very elaborate pujas to Mahavishnu. And the prasad form, the benefits, what comes out of it, is all offered to the Lord. And so he also grants them so much benefit. But somehow, it's explained in Bhagavad Gita, go to chapter 8, text 16, It is there. Srila Prabhupada describes this. So there are some in Brahmaloka who, even knowing as much as they do, still are connected with material energy. Mm. And they like what they get from material energy because all the 8 mystic cities are part of the abilities of those who are in Brahmaloka. They can make themselves small. They can take anything from many other planets. They can make themselves very large. All of those are mystic cities. They can affect other people's minds. They are born with it, with those abilities. All the 8 mystic cities. And therefore, some may get attracted to what they gain from the 8 mystic cities and be at the material level in terms of how they relate and not take spiritual activity so seriously, even at Brahmaloka. Those, when they leave their bodies, they will fall down to planets like the Earth. But those who take spiritual life far more seriously and do all the pujas and great sages, they all get to go to the spiritual world based on what they have seen of the spiritual planets and where they are most interested to go to. And that is the point that is being stressed here or being said here by Shukadeva Goswami. He says he grants their specific destinations. Even the impersonalists, they want to merge into the Brahmajyoti. So the Lord grants that destination. They go to the Brahmajyoti. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Sri Krishna is a complete form of all existence, material and spiritual. And he says, that means complete. Akila, the Sanskrit, complete. And that which is not kila, inferior. So there are 2 kinds of nature, material nature and spiritual nature. Material nature is the external potency of the Lord. Spiritual nature is the internal potency of the Lord. Antaranga Shakti. And material nature is called inferior, and superior nature is the spiritual nature, or para. Sometimes you see, talk about a spiritual world, it says paravyoma. Paravyoma. Para means transcendental, and vyoma means sky. So the spiritual world, the spiritual sky means para vyoma. Para transcendental, and then vyoma, the sky. That's where the spiritual planets, all effulgent planets are. And the effulgence is coming from the Lord's body, the bodily race. So Srila Prabhupada specifically says in the purport that less intelligent men, those who are not aware of his transcendental form, of the Lord's transcendental form, they describe him as impersonal Brahman. Those who are unaware of his transcendental form describe him as impersonal Brahman. In other words, they're saying that the Lord does not have a form. And therefore, they don't see him as person. As a matter of fact, what they say is, Krishna, when it comes to the material world, then he takes a body. But normally, he's formless. Not true. Krishna always has form, wherever he is. And he doesn't take a material body when it comes to the material world. He is still spiritual. He is still spiritual. He comes as he wants to, in the form that he wants to. Sometimes he comes the 200 original form, or sometimes he may come in the 400, or sometimes he may come multi-handed, like when he came as Shingadev, several arms. And so Shingadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj. So it's all based on his will. But everyone that comes in, the way he chooses to appear, he has form. So the Lord is not impersonal. But as Srila Prabhupada says, less intelligent men, they think he's actually formless. Brahman, the impersonal Brahman, is just the rays of his transcendental body. And this is described by Lord Brahma in Brahma Samhita. Samhita means compilation. So the compilation of verses by Brahma describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yasha Prava Pravavato Jagananda Koti. Koti Sha Shesha Vasudi Vibhuti Binnam. Srila Prabhupada quotes it a lot, this particular one, especially the two lines of this. The rest is Tad Brahman is Kalam, Anantam Ashesha Bhutam, then Govindam Adipurusham, Tamaham Bhajami. So Yashat Prava. Prava is the effulgence. Jagananda. Jagananda is the universes. Koti, Koti Shu. Millions and millions. So we're talking about millions and millions of universes. Literally, Ashesha, unlimited. And the universes have what? Different planets and other manifestations. Vasuda Adi. And the opulences are called Vibhuti. So that's the second line. Kotisha Shesha Vasudadi Vibhuti Vinam. Vinam means varieties, like that. So this is Lord Brahma describing the universes, quantity, millions and millions and millions. Literally, he just uses, first says millions and he says they are unlimited actually. Vasudadi talks about the properties of the universe. There are planets in them, and there are all kinds of opulences in those planets, which are part of the universes. So I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The the full translation, whose effulgence is the source of the non-differentiated Brahman mentioned in Upanishads, being differentiated from the infinity of glories of the mundane universe. It appears as the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. We call Krishna the absolute truth. Therefore, Lord Brahma ended it that way. He is the indivisible, infinite, limitless truth. Truth means fact. Fact. Things that are fact are also truthful. So sometimes in this, truth and fact are used interchangeably. This one means fact. The universes are there, the mundane universes are there, and then the spiritual sky is also there. And those are all factual. Now, the devotees, here Papa says, devotees, and this is what we're learning, trying to be good devotees. The devotees who are aware of his transcendental form render him service. And this is where we get so much benefit because we're not aware of his transcendental form so much, but we are taking instructions from Guru and we are told who Krishna is. That will describe the ultimate description of Krishna that's coming, because it's been talked about by Shukadeva Goswami. Now, Guru teaches us how to serve the Lord. So we render him service. And the more service we render, the more he reveals himself. And then slowly we also begin to understand his transcendental form. He said already in the Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chamedivyam evam yogiti tatvata. So his birth and his activities are all transcendental. And it's a very important thing for us because when we read the pastimes of the Lord and begin to understand a little bit about it, there's a tendency for people to think that it's just like how we live our lives too. No, we live a material life, and Krishna's body and his activities are all transcendental. Even if it resembles some of the things we do, we're not at the same level. As soon as we start thinking in terms of material level, we're in trouble. Because then our material laws will be compared to his activities. And then people start saying, well, Krishna does this, Krishna is immoral, all of them are aparats, offenses from our lack of understanding. So devotees are aware of his transcendental form and his activities, and therefore they render him service. And what does the Lord do? He also reciprocates by his causeless mercy and delivers the devotees from all distresses. Now there are pious men, and pious people include even religionists. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 42, you're going to realize that if you read that, you see qualities are there. Sama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Ajava, Jnanam, Vigyan, Astikam, it's all there. The qualities are there of persons who are pious. They're tolerant, and they're patient. They're also very much stick to knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in order to serve Him. And the Lord gives them wisdom to do that. They are religious, like that. Pious people, people in the mode of goodness. And they are also protected by the Lord. And many religionists literally pray for protection. A lot of people do that who are in the religions, especially Christians. But the Lord will protect anyway, because it's being said that all you have to be is pious. If you're pious, you're protected. If you are a devotee, then devotee qualities include piety. And you also come under the protection of the Lord. But the impious, they are checked in a different way. So if you take the situation of a parent will protect the child. But if the child starts doing things that are negative, the parent will also punish the child. So the parent protects the child who is doing the right thing, that is the pious person and the devotee. And the parent punishes the child who is doing the wrong thing, the demon. So we have demons and then pious people. And the Lord protects them and punishes. And the punishment is also good for them, because in the punishment, He checks them from further advancement in their bad activities. Some of them, Sri Papa said, who are especially favored by the Lord, they killed by Him. We're talking about the demons now. They killed by Him because as soon as they killed, then those demons can't cause any more problems. The big names are Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kamsa. They were all killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hiranyakashipu was killed by Shingadev, the Lord in the half-man, half-lion form. Kamsa was killed by the original Krishna form when he came to Mathura, and Ravana was killed by Lord Ram. So they're all the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after they got killed, they couldn't obviously continue with their activities because they were dead. So that's how the demonic activities, gets checked. So Srila Prabhupada just sums it up by saying, just like a kind father, just like a kind father, either favor upon the devotees or punishment over the demons. This is all kindness. A parent is not looked at as unkind when he's punishing. It's the reason they're doing that, so that the person that is being punished will stop that. Srila Prabhupada also mentions the Paramhamsa stage. Paramhamsa stage, and he mentioned more about, especially the sannyas stage, production, the graduation from Kutichak all the way up to the Paramhamsa stage of sannyas. Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivraja, Acharya, and Paramhamsa. Kutichak is when a person is from the Vanaprastha stage, that is, they are married and they're retired from taking care of children, and then they get to a point where they take sannyas, and still they are not so far away from home, and the wife, in fact, cooks prasad and gives it to them, so somehow they're out of the house, but they're being cared for. They're situated in such a place that the wife can, in fact, still serve them. Bahudak is when they've gone away. Now the wife's not serving at all, and they're going from door to door to beg alms and also to teach Krishna consciousness, so that those who are grahastas in those places can benefit from Krishna consciousness. Parivraja sannyas, we know that all our sannyasis are at that stage. Parivrajakacharyas. They travel and they preach. They travel and they preach. Paramhamsas there also are sannyasis writing books, and expressing their understanding and their advancement in Krishna consciousness to teach others, writing their realizations and so on. And at that time, they don't necessarily have to travel. Parivrajakacharyas is for traveling. That's why when we are talking about particular sannyasis in our prayers, we say, Daya Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakachaja. Then His Divine Grace or so on, like that. Paramhamsa Parivrajakachaja. Parivrajakachaja is a traveling sannyasi. Paramhamsa is one that's sharing his realizations in book form or in print form, whatever it is, to get it out, or even in audio form. So Queen Kunti describes it so nicely. The conclusion is, for protection by the Lord, one has to be pious and also to serve him. So we have to involve ourselves in devotional service, and we should be not offensive, pious people, caring people. We also must aspire to be Premanandis. Premanandis, there's Brahmanandis who are the impersonalists. That's the Sanskrit, and Premanandis are devotees. We must aspire to stay to be Premanandis, not get into this Brahman effulgence thing. No. And final thing about Krishna is there is no existence without Krishna. If it wasn't for Krishna, nothing could exist. So the word existence can't even be without Krishna. Because Krishna is there's existence, spiritual or material existence. So Chikadeva Goswami is describing the Lord, offering obeisances, which is also part of the 9 processes of serving that we have to do, offering obeisances to Guru, offering obeisances to the deity, and describes the Lord so wonderfully, especially his ability to check demons by punishing them and keeping them from continuing with their demonic activities, and also protecting both pious people and also devotees. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So this is the time for devotees to unmute themselves and share whatever that's come to their mind, or takeaways, or ask questions if they so desire. Okay, so Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
All glory to Prabhupada.
I have a question. So when you were describing pious and I don't know what the next
pious and devotion, or pious and impious?
Devotion. So does that mean, so if my understanding is correct, so pious are people in the mode of goodness? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. That's exactly, you hit it right on the nail, right on the head. Oh, the goodness. That's piety.
Oh, the goodness. Okay. And then devotees should aspire, because not all devotees join and the mode of goodness, like we become through a journey, right? Sometimes we bring passion of ignorance with us, and then we,
but everyone, especially
I mean, I did too. And Krishna consciousness is to help us, to raise us from the mode of passion and ignorance to goodness, and hopefully above to transcendence. Is that the next level above pious?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Except that religionists don't get to the transcendental level. They stay at pious level. That's why they go to the most pious place in the material world, the heavenly planets. That's why religionists don't get to transcendence. That's the difference. They are pious, but they don't get to the transcendental level. Okay.
So would people in the category of, those that give charity, like the charitable people, as they say,
yes.
So they can be classified as mode of goodness because they're just giving in charity all the time, right?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes or no, and here's why. Charity is good. That's giving of yourself as a gift to someone else. But charity is classified in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. We were talking about it yesterday in the class. That's why I said yes and no.
I remember
So,
that. Yes,
yeah,
you're right.
charity in the mode of goodness. So
Yeah.
yeah, charity in itself is good, but you don't give it to somebody who's going to ruin his own life or use it to do something negative. That's the mode of ignorance. And you have to be careful about that part. And that's why I said yes and no, because charity is also categorized. But we assume, all right, you probably meant charity in the mode of goodness. Giving for Christian conscious projects or giving to help people in general. Those are mode of goodness and transcendental charity. Anything else? Or does that clear everything? Okay, I heard. Well, I could
It
hear,
does
but
clear up. It
okay,
does
all right.
clear. Yeah. The chapter in Bhagavad Gita about the charities and the different modes, I slipped my
Yeah,
mind, but as soon as you mentioned it, I remembered it. So thank you.
yeah. It says that's the qualities, the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Natural qualities. Brahmanas are in the mode of goodness, but pious people and religionists are also in the mode of goodness. There are people who are not even religious, but they say they're pious. They have some of this, but if you don't believe in God, then Sri Prabhupada classifies you as demonic. They may have some, pious things. Yeah, even Hitler had some things that were pious about him. We can talk about it, even though he did so much, destruction. But people have a combination of these things. Very little goodness in that man. It's all like passion and ignorance. But speaking about the, pious, they are peaceful. This is in 1842, chapter 18, text 42 of Bhagavad Gita. Samudama, Titiksha, and Ajapam. I mentioned the Sanskrit, but anyway, they are peaceful, they are self-controlled, they are austere, and they're pure, or at least they strive for purity. They're tolerant, they're honest, they're knowledgeable. Not everybody has to be knowledgeable. When we say knowledgeable, we're not talking about book knowledge or school or university type knowledge. No, they know what is what. They have wisdom and they are religious. So that's it. Peaceful, self-controlled. They don't fly off the handle so easily. Self-controlled. They control the emotions. But for devotees, we also control the senses. That's transcendental. So peaceful, self-controlled. They're not austere. They're not attached to material energy. They can do without it. They are pure in their thinking. They are pure in their hearts. They're tolerant. Situations sometimes are difficult, but they put up with it anyway because they understand that this material world is a place where there's happiness, material happiness, and also material distress. And when they come, they look at it like the weather. So winter is coming. Yeah, so winter is coming. Do we like it? No, but we have to put up with it. A few people say, well, we like snow. Well, most people don't because of the distress that it can cause. But it's part of life. So they tolerate like that. Good things come, all right, no big deal. Bad things come, all right, it's like that here. So we're not gonna just say, oh, why is this? Why is no? It's just, it's like that. Spiritual world has all good all the time. But material world is sometimes good, sometimes difficult. And they are honest. They speak the truth. And we were talking yesterday about it, that speak the truth the whole time. If you have to hold off speaking the truth, if you have to, don't lie, speak the truth, or hold off, but don't replace, because of the situation, truth with something that is untrue. The downside of it is that if it gets found out that you said something that was not true, or I said something that's not true, then my reputation is now at stake. Because the next time you say something, it may be true. There's a story about it. A young boy that was tending to sheep. And wolves come after sheep to try to kill them. That's how they live, to kill animals, other animals that are weaker than them. So this person, this little boy, started playing a trick at his village, the villagers. He lived in the village himself. So every time he takes the sheep out, he tries to play a trick on people. He starts shouting, wolf, wolf, wolf. And people grab their weapons or whatever it is that they can come to drive the wolves away. They come running. Where's the wolf? There's no wolf. And he starts laughing at them. So he was lying about this, but playing the game with them. And then he did it a few times. And one day, a wolf really came to go after the sheep, and he couldn't fight the wolf. So he started screaming again, wolf, wolf, wolf. Guess what happened? Nobody showed up. They thought he was just playing with them. This is, so of course, he suffered the distress, and the sheep suffered the distress. So it's always better to tell the truth, be an honest person. Hare Krishna. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much for coming to hear. We all learn from it. I'm speaking, but I'm also learning at the same time because it's through the mercy of Guru and Guranga that anything comes out of my mouth. Of course, Srila Prabhupada's purpose of what we repeat. So have a nice, wonderful day. And some of you have a break today, and some of you are still working. But whatever it is, remember Krishna at all times. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you again for coming. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.